is it that, or am I just being a prick? Don't put too much pressure on yourself to like stay positive, because it's not always going to be like that. I just know that I'm never going to have that, like, I guess, ideal family dynamic with people. Hello. Sorry for like this really odd background. I mean, at least it's white and bright, I guess. But I think I'm like in focus and everything, and I've got a greasy head, greasy hair. Sexual Assault Awareness Month and Child Abuse Prevention Month. And I'm going to call it Child Abuse Prevention for the sake of these videos, because that's what I went through. Because I think the difference in assault and abuse is children and assault is when you're an adult. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what I've read on Google. But anyway, I've got a screenshot of what I want to talk about. So this video is going to be all about where I am now, how I'm doing, you know? Mentally, I do think I'm better. I'm in a better place. Sorry, I keep looking at the camera viewfinder, not the lens. I do think I'm in a better place, honestly. I have been so much better since I think like the summer of 2024. That's when I feel like after my sixth form exams and everything like that, like I feel like September, October, I really started to change and become more myself. And I'm still learning. Obviously, I've not completely learned everything I need to learn, but I feel like I'm on my way there. I used to be so negative. I was like the most pessimistic, like negative person you would ever come across, and I just think that was, maybe it was like a protective mechanism. Like I always thought things were going to go wrong, so that's why I just kind of, you know, prepared for the worst every single time, which I think is a completely normal behaviour to do if you've been through like abuse. I wouldn't say I'm like really positive now and optimistic all the time, but I definitely am way, way, way more like hopeful and motivated. And I mean, the last couple of weeks, because I've had a really dodgy situation with my life, so I'm a bit all over the place and I can expect that. I can expect that my mental health is going to go up, down, and in roundabouts my whole life, considering that it's gone round in roundabouts for my whole childhood and teenage years. It's going to do the same in my adult life, and I know that I'm going to go up and down, but it's just aspects of my life that I'm very grateful for, especially because I know you'll watch this, especially my boyfriend. I feel that part of my life, the fact that I've got that secure relationship at my age is, okay, like 1 in a million. You don't find this at this age. It's been smooth sailing and turbulent, I think, all at once. We've never had any like cheating scandals or like anything like where we've genuinely, one of us has done something to do with like loyalty or infidelity. It's nothing like that. It's just a pretty, I would say it's a pretty smooth relationship, but we've just had environmental factors around us that has affected it. And I don't want to solely blame what I went through for my communication issues and like my behaviour, but I do think it's there. I do think it's there, and it's, you know, it's wiggled its way through into, it's like micromanaged my life. That's what I like to say about it. It like micromanaged my life, low key. It really did, and it still is to an extent. I think I've kind of accepted that it's always going to be there in some form. And there's a lot of ways that it probably affects me, and I have no clue why it affects me or how. I'm going to be so naive to it, and you're not always going to be able to connect the dots, or there's going to be behavior that happens and you have no idea why it happens. You could blame that, but then at the same time it's like, well, you have free will, you have autonomy, so it's like, is it that, or am I just being a prick? And you know what, sometimes you just don't know that. But I do think to an extent your past affects how you are as a person when you grow up. Survivor complex, because see, this one's interesting, because I think sometimes we go from being such a victim, which I was, like my peak victim era was probably like 13, 14 years old, And then we jump to now, where I'm really trying to stay out of that survivor complex, which is where you kind of go so far beyond, I don't even know how to like explain it, but sometimes we just then make our personality about how we've overcome that shit and how we've overcome everything, and it's a lot. And sometimes we become so detached from it, but in a completely other way. Like, oh my god, it doesn't affect me no more. I'm completely removed from it. It doesn't control me anymore. Like, that is my past life. When really, you need to like come back down to earth for a sec and think, no, it might still affect me, but just not in the way it did before. I just don't hang on to that kind of mentality. I just don't think about it all day, every day. I just kind of get on with my life, and it might wiggle its way through every now and then, but it's not holding me back from anything. It's not consuming me, you know? And sometimes I think people then go too far the other way and think that they are completely over it. And I don't think there's such thing as being over trauma. I just think we learn to deal with it, and we have coping strategies, and especially if it's like abuse in your childhood trauma, like that shit you don't really get over. It's probably gonna stick with you for the rest of your life, and you've just got to accept it. And it's not scary. Like, once you accept it, it's not scary. You just realize that it's gonna crop up every now and then, and that's it. So I'm doing this series obviously because I want to help people, and I feel like you see so many people that have been through trauma go into psychology, go into social, like, what's it called? Like social services era, no, not era, area of jobs, and maybe even like clinical jobs where you're like helping people, and helping vulnerable people. I wanted to do what's it called? Victim support, I think it's called, for so long. And I would really still like to help victims of like similar things to what I went through, but I like doing that through my social media because I feel like it's so versatile and you can reach so many different people and you can still communicate with people, but there's not that pressure of like being a professional and doing your job. Everyone's going to deal with something differently and navigate it differently. So it's hard. It's hard to like have that pressure, I guess, of you want to like utilize it, honestly. Once you come out of it, all you really want to do is utilize it and make someone else feel like it's going to be okay. There's light at the end of the tunnel. Like, you're not always going to feel like shit, and you're not always going to be like consumed by it, because that's what I want to tell like my 13-year-old self, is honestly just like get a grip. Like, you're going to be fine. Just try and like be hopeful. And I know that the environment around you is absolute bollocks, but you'll be fine. In terms of like therapy now, because I talked about therapy in my last video, but like in terms of therapy like now, I'm really like up and down with it. Like, I think at the moment, honestly, I just don't really want to pay for it. I don't need it and I don't want to pay for it. I've got people around me at the moment that I'm using as my therapists, and I understand that it's not the same. And I would love a therapist maybe when I have more money on my hands and I'm not like saving vigorously, but I do think at some point it would be really helpful for me to have a therapist, but there's no one that's probably going to quite help me the way that I said in my last video. This woman in my sixth form, or she was just a teacher in my school, but she helped me throughout sixth form, and she was honestly incredible. And once you meet someone that's so good, you don't I feel like every therapist I'm going to meet, I'm going to be like, it's not her. It's not her. But I do want to like think about it, and especially when I get into like my 20s, God forbid, this year, I do want to think about starting to go to therapy and having an external source of support. I want someone to have a conversation with me and be real and be blunt and be honest, but not judge me for my actions, but also hold me accountable, if that makes sense. Like, I just want someone that's like real, and that's what she was. She was just real. And she had answers for my questions. If I said I felt this way, she could give me a couple different reasons why I might feel that way. And it's reasons that I wouldn't even think of. I want someone to help me think outside of the box and be able to connect the dots that I can't connect. I'm not a closed book. I'm a very open book. If you want to know about what happened to me, I will likely tell you. I will probably tell you, there's not loads of people that know about it, apart from like the whole of social media now, but I just think there's so much you can do with it. And whether that's you go into psychology, whether that's you go to be a support worker or a family, what's it called? Like family services, victim support, a nurse, a midwife. There's like so many things that you can do where you're helping vulnerable people or just helping people. Oh yeah, I also wanted to touch on the fact that like, if you want therapy, or like if you don't want therapy, if you think you're okay, that's not a reason not to have therapy. I genuinely think if you are completely fine, the thing is, when you get to therapy, when you get in that room, you will talk about something, and it might be something that you never thought affected you, or something that you never thought you would talk about to someone. It's funny how your brain works, and you might just say one little sentence, and they might ask you a leading question onto that sentence. And it just leads into like loads and loads of like ongoing questions and conversation. If you need it, you need it. Like, I think everyone would benefit from therapy, whether you're in a great state, whether you feel like you're on top of the world, or whether you feel obviously like you're not on top of the world, you're on the bottom of the world. However you feel, I think there's always room for therapy, because all therapy really is, it's like an external source of help and conversation and support. You're always going to need someone like external from the home. You don't need like, you can talk to people in the home or your friends or your family, like people in your circle, but it's not the same as getting an outside perspective. And when I say an outside perspective, I mean someone that does not know these people personally. It's a bit later because I waited ages for my camera to cool down, but I think what I was like saying is my relationship with family is literally like all over the place, and it's like low-key dysfunctional, but I don't think my relationships with people are always going to be smooth sailing, and I guess that's just sometimes how it is. And I've had to learn to like accept that I'm not gonna have like a perfect family. I know like no family is like perfect per se, but I just know that I'm never gonna have that like, I guess, ideal family dynamic with people. If you're going through that, like, I get it, and it's shit, but you just gotta kind of learn to deal with it, because you're just given what you're given at the end of the day. And I've found a lot of comfort in the fact that I've got new family, and I've got my boyfriend's family and everyone else. But yeah, I do think things are going to get better in the next few years. I do think it's going to take a while. I don't think it's going to get worse. I just think it's going to be like, I'm just going to have to like navigate everything as it comes. But yeah, that's just kind of how I'm going to navigate it, and that's how I'm doing, really. And yeah, that's me now. I'm doing a lot better, learning to cope every day, learning to get through the days, changing my mindset, being a bit more like the glass half full than the glass half empty. But it is hard sometimes to keep afloat and to maintain that mentality, so like don't put too much pressure on yourself to like stay positive, because it's not always going to be like that. You are going to have days where you feel like shit, and that's just how it is. But just know that you will get out of the other side of it, and it might just take a random day. So say like a random Thursday where your brain just kind of switches. It might be overnight, it might happen over the course of 10 years, 20 years, whatever it is. I thought I wouldn't be out of it till like late 20s, and I'm already starting to come out of it. So here's hope that it's already been 14 years? 13. Fuck my life, how long has it been? 14 years this year. And it's very different for me, obviously, because I was a child, so I dealt with everything a lot later. So I didn't start dealing with it mentally until I was about 12. And even then, it's been 7 years. So it's just a sign that things are going to get better. They will, okay? They will. I promise you, they might seem so shit, but at some point they will get better. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the series. It's a bit of a sadder series, and I just wanted to spread awareness on this topic because I don't see a load of it online. I do see, like, you hear about physical abuse, or you hear about, well, no, yeah, it is mostly physical that you hear about online with children. You don't really hear too many sexual abuse stories. Not a load of it, or like how people go out of it. So here I am on the other side of it, and yeah, that like concludes my little series as well. And I hope this like helped someone, because this probably would have helped me a lot a few years ago. Just helped me feel like validated, and like someone else is actually going through the same thing that I'm going through. Like, would have made me feel very much comforted knowing that other people actually go through it, you know? Even if my experience is different to yours, there's probably still things you can like take away from it and relate to. But yeah, I will see you all next time.